Hi friends, this is Gwen from Gwen the Trash Witch. Welcome for coming today. I am so excited to share with you this this event that I am participating in. It is the Masterboard Madness, which is hosted by Hazel at Hazel Anaka Design, and she invited me to participate with 30 other designers, creators, to share with you some ideas for making masterboards. So I've been watching some of the videos. I am going to go back and watch the ones I've missed because I started to get a little inspired by their work, and just I wanted to make sure that I was just sharing you things that that I wasn't just inspired to make because of what I was seeing. So there's some wonderful masterboards that have been shown already. I will be in the more section. I'll make sure I have a list of all the creators that have participated. And yeah, they are very, very inspiring and very creative and so different from each other. So what I've decided to share with you is I'm going to stick with my trash panda kind of theme of how I started out in the junk journaling world. I've gotten a little far away from it as I've learned about all the cool things that are out there to make junk journals with. So I, for this year, I do want to kind of go back more into that instead, but I do love all the cut and collage books and all the different things that I've learned this year. So I'll be doing both. But for sharing with you today, I did want to kind of go back to, I guess, what you would say was my roots. So what I want to share with you is a bunch of different masterboards that I've made and kind of tell you a little bit about how they came to be. So this first one is just a little, let me back you up a little bit. It's just an index card. And what I do when I'm working on a project is I keep an index card close by. And when I'm done, instead of throwing all these little scraps away or instead of putting them in a bag, because believe me, I have those too, I just sort of make a masterboard really quickly with them. And you can see this little baggie has even more pieces, tiny little pieces. And I just grab whatever's close by. This was just probably a Dollar Tree tag, and I've started gluing these little pieces on there. So I just keep them close by, just a little scrap. And these were the back sides of a cut and collage book I was working on. So I had lots of those scraps. And I just went and made sure that they weren't just going in the trash, that they were actually being glued down for later use. And this one is still another one from that same project. And you can see I've ripped some pieces off already, probably for that book, for that journal that I was working in. But yeah, these can all be cut up now for tags, corners, journal covers. They're just all ready to go. So that's what I do as I'm working on a project. And I find it just really handy, at least to have an index card close by that you can just glue those scraps on. Some scraps are bigger than these. And for the, I wanted to show you really quick. This is what I was working on yesterday. So you can see I have a nice little pile of, well, it wasn't yesterday. These are steampunk scraps. So do as I say, not as I do. I should have had these already down on an index card. But I wanted to show you this is kind of what you start out with. And I know it could have gone into the trash, easily could have gone into the trash. But if you have that index card close by, you can end up, you know, making a nice little masterboard to use either in that project or for later on. So the bigger scraps, these are a little more purposeful. They were just scraps. I did end up putting some book page on these, but again, they're just on scraps of paper. They were just slightly bigger scraps. And what's neat is when you're working on a project, they're usually pretty much color coordinated to go together. So you can see this was probably one, and this was, I think, a spring Easter thing I was working on. This one has a little more detail as far as what you would want to possibly add to your master boards. Obviously, these first ones I showed you are just the, we'll just call it the bare master board, ready to have embellishments or stamps put on top of them. Okay, okay, really quickly I'll show you some more of these. These I have added the stamping onto, or some doodling. This one has stamping and doodling and just a little bit of everything. Some magazine images. So fun. Okay, this one I do have a video on. This one is from last year, but I want to share it because it was so much fun and because Easter is coming. Save those candy wrappers. They're beautiful. They're metallic and cute. And these were just glued down on a piece of white scrapbook paper, so nothing too important that I was keeping around here. And yeah, it just made such a pretty master board. I have used the second one I made for this. I have made tags and I think tucks out of, and I do have this video up. It's way back in my list of videos, but I did make this last Easter. So save the candy wrappers. The Easter ones are darling, but you know, every season they have very, very cute candy wrappers. So that's another idea. And then this one I believe you've seen, but it's still fun. This one is all the inside of the privacy envelopes. Every envelope has so many different designs, and there's even red ones. This was all from the black and white, and it's just so interesting how there are so many different designs in those envelopes. And then just for fun, I went ahead and ripped off the postage places, of the envelopes, couple stamps, just to show that you can take that envelope theme. Oh, I've got all my scraps on everything. That envelope theme even a little further. But yeah, this is all just junk mail or yeah, mail. If it does have a stamp, I always rip the stamp off. But I just love the inside of the envelopes. I've done other things with these. I made a book cover actually with the inside of the privacy envelopes, or a journal cover, I guess. Okay, for some fun, different ones you may not have seen. My daughter is reliving her childhood, I guess you would say, and her friends are collecting Pokemon cards again. So these are Pokemon sleeves for the cards, and she didn't like them, so she gave them to me, and I cut them up and just put them on a mailer. These are my favorite to use, these mailers, and they're thick, and this is the actual size of it. And I just cut up these Pokemon sleeves and just glued them down. And most everything is just glued down with a permanent glue stick. So it seems to be holding quite well. You could, if you sew and have a sewing machine, you could go around and sew if you're afraid that it might not be holding down, or go over it with a Mod Podge cover, which I did on one of the other ones. I'll show you that. So this is just Pokemon card sleeves. I'm sure that there's other designs of card sleeves, might be something you look for at a thrift store or swap meet. Okay, these are the actual Pokemon packages that the cards come in. And again, I was like, look at those cool designs. So I cut the backs off and just used the fronts. And again, this would have all been in the trash. And oops. Okay, here we go. And I made a master board with those. She does want a Pokemon journal. She wants me to make her a Pokemon journal. So I'm definitely going to be using this for tags or any of the other types of embellishments that we make with our master boards. So this one was fun. It is more of a metallic paper, so I think I did use my art glitter glue for getting some of these down. It obviously wasn't going to come through the paper, but I thought this one was so fun, and there's so many different designs on the Pokemon packages, so that was a fun one. Okay, this one As you know, I live by Disneyland, and I'm lucky this year I do have a season pass. And when you go in, they give you this pamphlet, and it's a map of the park. This is my favorite part, this actual map here. And then it tells you on the right side all the different food services and shops. And there's usually some pictures of Mickey, and it varies per season what's up there. They do come in a variety of languages. This one is Korean, and I like to get those because it's very cool to have all the different languages in the pamphlet. So I took one of these pamphlets, and I took just this front part here, just this section, and I just sliced it up and made a masterboard out of it. And I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. And when I sliced up the map, on the back was Mickey and Minnie. And so I flipped some of them over. So we have like Minnie's feet, half of Mickey's head, his shoe, his gloves. But I wanted to get the pictures of Minnie and Mickey Mouse on there so that we knew for sure it was Disney. And you can almost see a little bit of Disneyland there. So I really was happy with the way this one came out. And these pamphlets are free. So when you go in the park, you can just pick them up. And if you visit any of the parks, I'm sure that you can get a hold of these. Or if you have friends that visit the park, yeah, see if they can grab you some and mail them to you. So I really like the way this masterboard came out. And I do a lot of Disney crafting and journaling. So something like this will definitely be used. Okay, on to another one. This one, you know, our tea bags all come in, well, they don't all, but many come in these paper packaging. So again, I cut these in half, and I used both the back side and the front side and did a masterboard with just the tea bags. And I meant to bring out my tea stickers because I think this would be really cute to embellish with the images of teacups or the teacup stickers. I did go over this one with some very watered down gesso because I wanted it to have just more of a washed look. Just kind of, I don't know, I was just playing around with some other mediums to see what would happen. And I really like the look it gave to that. So yeah, this one was really fun. I guess what I want to say is save everything. If it's in the kitchen, if it's a packaging, you know, it all can be used. And I know my family, I know I'm driving them a little nutty with saving all the trash, but you know, it makes such beautiful pieces. So yeah, the trick is keeping it organized. If you can keep it organized, then it's not so in your way and so trashy, I guess. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is I have so many journals I want to make, but one of the ideas I wanted to do was a Monopoly journal. So my friend, Vivian, that you now know, I can call her by name, she found a Monopoly game at a thrift store at a very next to nothing price. So she picked this up for me, and I was going to try to do a masterboard out of some of these, but they're pretty hard. They're pretty thick. So I decided not to, but you can probably guess what I did use. I used the Monopoly money, and look how pretty that is. Look at those pretty colors. So the only denomination I did not use was the $1, I believe, because it was white. And I just didn't want any white on here. And I just thought this came out so pastel and kind of spring and Easter, I don't know. But yeah, I was really happy with the way this one came out. I did cut, you know, different sizes. I used a few in their full shape because I did want it recognizable as Monopoly money. And it does say above the denomination, it does say Monopoly. So yeah, I was really happy. And again, I'm just using the flyers that are left in my mail or on my gate. They're just wonderful. They're so thick and they're free. So, and then with this one, I thought it would be fun if I make a pocket or a tag, you know, I can use some of these on there, or even some of the deeds, you know, they'd be fun to have on the master board on the background. So you could definitely embellish using the other Monopoly pieces that come. So I hope I've given you some ideas. I know we've probably all seen just about everything there is to see, but you know, just in case, or if you're new to junk journaling, I wanted to give you some ideas, and some ideas that don't cost any money. And I know we can really spend a lot of money on this crafting that we love, but there's also ways to do it where you're not spending money. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and I hope I accomplished that. So thank you, Hazel, so much for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful event that you put together for this month. And oh, I want to share with you, okay, let's bring this back. I want to share with you that there is a prize that if you watch and you comment on all of the creators' videos, that you could win a prize. And so that's pretty exciting. If you want to go to Hazel's channel, she has an introduction to this wonderful event, and she can give you all the details, but I believe you need to be subscribed and you need to comment so they know that you were there and like the video. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, so go ahead and check out all those other wonderful creators. Like I said, I'll have them all listed under the more section. And so you should be able to, if I do it right, you should be able to just click on that and go visit all the different creators. If for some reason I don't do it right, then Hazel has them all listed as well, as do many of the other creators that have already shared theirs. So this does go on until the 31st of March, and I hope that you will continue watching and seeing what all the other wonderful creators have to share with you. So thank you so much for your time and for coming by. I would love it if you would like, and if you haven't subscribed, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's free, so why not? Okay, friends, thank you again, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.